Hello, and welcome to another episode of Digging a Little Deeper into English with Kirsten, where we will investigate what successful language learners have done in order to transform their communication and make that career change they were looking for. In today's episode, we will talk with someone who has been working with me for quite a while and who I must say I thoroughly enjoy working with. So let's get to it. Thanks so much today for joining me. And why don't you introduce yourself to me? Tell me who you are and a little bit about yourself.
All right. I am Serkan. Now, currently, I am working in Zambia. I was working in Saudi Arabia and Turkey before. I'm a mining engineer. I'm working
From
in the
Turkey?
mineral processing industry. Yeah, I'm from Turkey.
From your accent?
Is it that obvious?
I know you anyway, but yes, your accent will give you away. So, sorry, I interrupted. Keep going.
I'm working in the mineral processing industry for 10 plus years. And I really love it. I enjoy it. Now I'm doing it as an expert. It's increasing the fun I'm getting from it. Yeah.
Excellent. And let's talk about your English. So Turkey's not famous for having a large number of fluent English speakers.
No.
Did you learn English in Turkey?
Yes. At least I should say I started to learn English at school. I was like 12 or 13, but it was not so efficient. It's obvious that I'm still, taking lessons to improve it. So it was not efficient. Also, my degree, university education was totally in English. It was still not sufficient. Yeah, it's helping. Yeah, it's giving you some, level of English, but mostly it is limited for reading or just listening, understanding it mostly, not using it actively.
Okay.
That's the part which makes it hard to learn it from only books or some sort of programs.
And then you say you went to Saudi, and did you have to work in English there, or were you working in Turkish?
There were many Turkish people, but still the language was English there. The thing is, people from everywhere. So there were some Africans, there were people from Indonesia, Philippines, there were people from Turkey, there were people from Saudi Arabia. So the language, global language area was English. But it was, I can say, basic, because the levels were really different from person to person. So there was some basic level of English. So I was surviving, but I was also aware that I need to improve it.
Okay.
So it was a thing to communicate better at Saudi, but also it was a must for any other future opportunities. Improve it.
Excellent. So you were interested at that point in moving on from Saudi and moving internationally.
Yeah. I was always thinking about it, and sometimes I was starting to do something about it, just start to use some applications, start to get some books and, work on that, spend some time on, in English stuff like BBC, programs or any other, training things, but their support will be limited. Even if you are dedicated, you are doing them consistently, the improvement will be very limited from there. So I was starting them, not much results, and I was just stopping them. But in Saudi, it was at a certain point that I need to do something serious to, increase my level of command in English.
Okay. You say you were using apps and books.
Yeah.
Were you doing any activities with like the people at work? Were you trying to improve speaking with anyone at work, or you just doing only self-study?
It was only self-taught. I never used that, platforms
Okay.
talk someone one-on-one, etc. I've never used them.
Yeah.
But I know people, it's very popular nowadays doing that. But as I understand from most of these systems, you are not, pairing with the one always. So it's
Mm.
always changing. So there is not someone who is gonna, track your progress
Yeah.
and tailor a program for you to improve,
Yeah.
your your points that you need to improve. You need,
Yes.
you need to improve.
Yeah. No,
But
you're right. There are
that's why it is. I think it's the point
conversational
that,
apps, but
yeah,
not structured programs. Yeah.
yeah, they can help, but again, it will be self-study, as you said, and you need to be aware of everything to, improve your English skills, and it's a bit hard. You need a professional for that,
Okay.
so he or she can understand what you need most, and then you can focus there.
Hmm. Did you find that some of them worked better for you than others? Did you find more benefit out of apps, for example, than books, or you liked personally books more than apps?
Now,
Or you said
mm,
BBC? You were watching BBC?
yeah, I am most of the time I am spending a certain amount of daily from BBC website. It's changed, because there are some videos
Hmm.
totally focused on teaching English. There are also some, news, etc., that you can just read, spend some time for some exposure. There are also ABC conversations. It was from
Mm-hmm.
you from
Yeah.
Australia. There are also some good stories because I'm in the mining industry and there are many, topics related to mining or resource industry, which is
Yes.
fun to read. And it gives you some idea what's happening in the world.
Mm. Mm.
So it was also a thing. For applications, I'm using Duolingo, but
Mm-hmm.
as I said, support is limited. But it's good to make something consistent, like let's say 10 minutes a day. It's not a big
Yeah.
time. Anybody can do that. So probably you'll be, learning a few more additional vocabulary. It helps.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Excellent.
that, their support will be limited. Without you,
So, what do you wish you knew about learning English before you went to Saudi?
I think I would only think about that started early. It would be nice if I started it early and fully ready while I was in Saudi. It was not the
Mm.
case.
But is there something that you've
So
learned along the way that you wish you knew? Some tip?
I couldn't knew that I need someone to teach me, one on one. But I
Okay.
realized that when we start lessons with you,
Mm.
that was a thing I was not aware. But when I experienced it, I realized it's really, giving you some real progress because now you start to, see what lacks on your, English skills, and also it gives you some sort of responsibility or accountability to someone. So you are gonna, do your stuff, do your homework, just keep studying or working consistently to reach a certain point. It's also a nice thing. Maybe it's
Mm.
not directly related to, learning English, but it's also important for me.
Yeah. You have to enjoy whatever it is that you do, or you're not going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, so yeah, you have introduced the topic. You have been working with me one on one for quite a long time now, about a year from memory.
Yeah.
And what part of that journey has been the most helpful or interesting in in that year? Is there something that you learned that really changed your approach to English?
First of all, the thing is, if you asked me before, probably you would get some answers like I'm really good at reading and listening. but I'm very limited at speaking, etc. But I realized that I'm also lacking many points at listening side as well, and also my IELTS result also showed that. So if if you don't have someone who is professional on this thing, probably you won't be just aiming for the right things. So I also got the chance to understand, hey, what's missing on my side to improve, etc. It was one thing. And also with our lessons, I realized that you gave me some vision how to use that English, because I was also not aware that, that formal, informal, direct, indirect. Maybe I had some ideas, but they were not refined. So I was not able to use them.
The cultural
I also started to use them. Yeah. And they really help, because communication in email and communication in an HR interview are totally different. The requirements are different. So preparations are also different. So understanding these differences are really helpful. And they made difference in my life as well.
I hope you don't mind me sharing a personal part of your journey. I remember a conversation with you after your frustration of not being able to get particular jobs that you had been looking for. This was before your experience working in Saudi Arabia, and then after. And I remember you feeling as though it was never going to be something that you could achieve. And it was, I don't know, 2 weeks later that you had an interview that you secured the job. And I remember telling you that your English was not a limiting factor, in my opinion, anymore, and that I felt you just need, and look, it was COVID. Things were complicated. Things were challenging for anyone during that period of time. And I thought you were being unfair.
It's another precious point of working with someone one-on-one, because otherwise probably I would just give up, and don't do anything about English for like 6 months till I get some motivation again. But the thing is, when you work with someone one-on-one, you feel responsible and it gives you some discipline. So even if you are not, 100% happy with that, you keep studying, and then you can have results. Because sometimes even if you cannot place a job or something, then you are realizing, hey, it's better now. Now I have a better version of life. So
sometimes
it looks bad at the time, but then you realize
it can feel bad,
better.
but it's sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees. That's the idiom. And I think that's what was happening for you. But do you feel now that your English has transformed into something that's a benefit, a strength rather than a weakness?
Sure. Significantly better now, and I don't have any serious problem communicating English, both in verbal side and written side and speaking side. But there's still room to improve. I'm still working on that to improve it.
Sure.
Here I have some natural advantages. Everybody speaks English, and there are many natives. So it gives me a chance to get under more exposure. So it gives me a natural advantage to learn it.
Yeah.
But now I just need to focus on my weak spots to improve them, and it will be just better.
So I can attest to the fact that you have absolutely transformed your career opportunities by significantly changing the way you use English. But what about everyone else who's listening? What do you think is the one or two things that they could do if they're in the position you were in a year ago? What is it that they could do to overcome some of the barriers they're feeling, do you think?
Yeah, I think they should understand how big differences can good English communication skills give them. Can give you huge advantages is, for your also business life. It can give you better opportunities at your current companies. If you are working in a local, that English is not important, even if that condition, English is still a very precious thing to have on your skill set. But if you are looking for be a global player in your industry, then it is the only thing that you need most. Because without a proper English, a good level of English, your technical skills are a bit meaningless. Because you cannot use them, you cannot transfer that information, or you cannot understand people, etc. So you cannot communicate, and you cannot convey that information you have. So it's a must, and it can open, very, very, very nice doors in your career and life. So I would start it immediately. You just sit and think for 5 minutes what can happen if you have good communication skills in English, and they will realize
your world will change.
Yes, sure.
Yes.
In a good way.
Yes. Absolutely. I don't. Yes. Yeah, no, that's something that drove me to start this, watching people miss opportunities and feeling, frustrated for them because they weren't able to get their career where they wanted it to go. But what's the one thing, other than studying with me, which is, of course, the perfect solution, what do you think people should start maybe challenging themselves with their thinking? I like something you said earlier, just 10 minutes a day. To me, that's a big shift.
I believe that small habits can make a big difference if you just stick on them consistently. I was using that thing like every day 15 minutes of BBC, like 15 minutes and ABC conversation, like 2 Duolingo sessions, which takes like 10 minutes or something. So I was also reading some English books. I mean, normal English books, not for studying English, but still gives you some chance to understand. I was also turning off the subtitles of some movies to, push me to understand what they're saying, etc. These small habits can help, and they can also give you some, habits to do things consistently in a discipline. So then you can look for an option like yours. Then your sessions also will be more efficient, because if they just do a weekly 1 hour, 2 hour, etc., and do nothing, the value will be again limited. It can be hard to improve it significantly. I know you provide many supportive things like homeworks, etc.
Yes.
They still need to have that discipline to do them and ask for more to you. Then you provide more. Then their learning curve will be really, really high.
Yes, well, that was your talent. Your talent was making me work harder. I want more. Challenge me more. Give me more. It's great. I enjoyed it.
You really give that chance. Yeah, you really give that chance. If they are aiming for that, then you give all of the opportunities to them.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy day to have that conversation with me. And I look forward to continuing working with you in the future.
I will be asking for them.
Well, that's it for our interview today. To download a transcript of the audio, click the link below. You'll find it in the show notes. Don't forget, if you want to be notified when the next great interview with successful non-native English professionals in the mining industry is released, click subscribe on your preferred podcast platform. And if you are ready to take control of your English, transform your communication skills, and see that pay back in your career, then shoot me an email at ksdsmith@gmail.com or visit me on LinkedIn. The links are again below in the show notes. Until the next episode, take care and keep on digging.